Hey guys, yeah, it's Al Washington, and welcome to my Al's Mystical Loft podcast. I'm here with author Elaine Redmond for her newest book, and she's probably going to correct me because I'm saying it incorrectly. The Krewe House of Lazulie. It is a Southern Gothic tale of ritual, beauty, and blood. And we're going to go ahead and definitely get right into it. So, Elaine, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, my name is Elaine Redmond. I am a Southern Gothic novelist born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Definitely nice to finally meet you, and definitely thank you for coming on my podcast. So, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and like I said, jump right into it. So,
Okay.
Elaine, what inspired you? How did the creation start? Any inspirations um, for this book?
Well, I used to write in a different genre under a different name. And one thing that kind of gnawed at me a little bit is I felt like I couldn't share it with everybody. So I used to write like in urban fiction. Urban fiction a lot of times has like erotica and stuff in there. And I
Right.
remember particularly my grandma was like, "Let me read your book, baby." I was like, "Oh, no, 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 you can't read that." So I was like, you know what? Maybe I should write something that I can, I don't want to say I wasn't proud of my urban fiction, but I wanted something that was more inclusive, that I wasn't afraid to let anybody read, whether it was a person that was, a young adult to, a very old person, or a person that's up in age, I'll say. So I remember particularly I was watching Skeleton Key, and I was like, I like what it was trying to go, but it's really not giving my hometown. It's not giving New Orleans, it's not giving Louisiana for real. I wish they would have did
Really,
something else.
really.
Yeah, it was close, but it wasn't authentic. It was like almost mystified. So I was like, okay, so I think I want to write a horror novel, and I want it to be set in New Orleans, and I think I want to tackle the religion of voodoo, but not in as much of a way that it was demonized, or how they do it in Hollywood. So that
Yeah.
was my
You didn't know, meaning that I saw the Skeleton Key. I mean, it was okay. Like I said, I didn't finish the movie. A
Mhm.
lot of my friends told me to watch it and everything because I like like I said, voodoo, but meaning that you didn't want it to be like generic type of thing.
Yeah,
You did, okay, that's what going into
yeah,
my next question, meaning that because again, even now when I bring up voodoo, people are, like I said, still scare the hell out of it, and people really
right. And
believe in
it
the black
shouldn't
magic.
really be.
Uh-huh.
It shouldn't be, because voodoo is a religion, first of all. Hoodoo is more so of the spells, but even with hoodoo, I like to think of it as, when it's with anything, like even with Christianity, Catholicism is like the more mysticism side of Christianity. It's the duality to everything. So voodoo in itself isn't, bad or negative. It just
Right.
depends on the person who uses it and what they do with it. And that's one of the things I wanted to kind of tackle in the book too. I didn't want it to, because it's a religion, so I didn't
Right.
want to disrespect a religion, like, as much as I love American Horror Story Coven, they have Papa Legba
Yeah.
eating babies. That's not what
Right.
that man does. Like, that's crazy.
No,
So
no, it's just like because people still get, I mean, and like I said, I love the genre. And to me, it's very hard to do voodoo. I'm working on
mhm.
eventually when I get my first supernatural novella out. I've been working on this idea for like years and years and years. But to me, I guess how was it dipping into voodoo though? Because it's not an easy thing to do. Like you just said, the Skeleton Key was you said it was good and I didn't finish it. It was okay. I don't want
Mhm.
nothing generic because I know you see a lot
Yeah.
of movies and read a lot of books with witchcraft, but when it comes to voodoo, some people still, or like the black magic, they really get, please don't bring that up, Al. Superstitious, and people really get sensitive. They
Yeah.
believe like it's like you said, it is a Christianity type of like religion, but you said you know more about that because that's like the heart of, like I said, you know like that from the back of your hand because you said but New Orleans. But
Mhm.
how was it just dipping into the voodoo though? Like, 'cause I know it said your place of heart. Like what did you
Yeah. And I didn't grow up knowing voodoo.
Right.
basically, New Orleans voodoo is like it comes from Haitian voodoo, but New Orleans has its own like special like way of doing it. And it's really tied to Catholicism. So to me, I kind of tackled it more from like I want to say historical, but that's not the right word. Like I wanted to more so teach the background of it and not so much focus on spells as much
Right.
like the loa that's on the book.
Right.
That is a fictional Loa that I made up because I didn't want to, because I have her doing certain things. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a real Loa doing, I would be confined to whatever that Loa would do. Like she's based off of Urzuli. And Urzuli is, she is tied with the Virgin Mary. And so it's certain things that she answers to and that she does, certain things that she doesn't do. And I didn't want to mix those things together. So I created my own based off of certain things that I knew from reading.
Okay.
And I kind of focus more so on like teaching like the background of it instead of going so much, raw in your face with it.
No,
So that
definitely.
was my approach to it.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely hear that. And I, like I said, I love it. I would love to eventually like to work on my own type of voodoo type of thing. And I know it's not going to be easy, like I said, than done, because I was even looking for comic books and graphic novels that really capture, like I said, that, especially visually. But I love reading, like I said, so for that. And I love the cover. And if you guys want to go ahead and take a look, Elaine, you can put your hands up so they can see it. The book is literally like above her head.
Yeah.
So as you
I
guys can
got that
see.
bit right here too.
Yep, yeah, zoom it in so everybody can see. Marvelous. Hold on, I'll be silent. Hold on.
Yeah.
Definitely for
Thank
that. Love
you.
it. You're welcome. Definitely love the cover. Definitely for the feel for it. And speaking of which, for your main character, Alexis, is it Roshan?
Yep.
Roshan. Yeah. So how
Perfect.
was it creating her?
So, oh, and just a side note, if you ever wanted to talk to me or anything about when you write your voodoo novel, you can
Okay.
let me know and if I can help out in any way, I can do that.
Really? I appreciate
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I would definitely take
definitely.
consideration being it may not be right now, but definitely I've been working on it. Like I said, I've been working on it for years and I've just typed up kind of written some notes about it. Like I said, some dialogue with it. But it's absolutely while it's still work in progress, if you don't mind, if any questions I have, because
Yeah,
again, I don't want to
definitely.
be generic, like I said, with
Right.
it. And I know I'm not from New Orleans. I'm from
Mhm.
upstate New York, so I definitely want to you know, definitely do it. So it's gonna not this is not gonna be easy, especially this project. I told you, been on and off for years, but I definitely want to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
definitely. I
Thank
could
you. I
definitely
appreciate
help.
it. No, I
No
appreciate it. Thank
problem.
you. Yeah, for that. But
Mhm.
thank you. I'll keep you definitely keep you in a loop for that. But
Okay.
Alexis, how was it creating her?
So for me, I felt like it was kind of like cathartic because she's a detective. And I wasn't a police officer. I worked as a dispatcher and an operator for like over 10 years. And one thing that I
Mhm.
tackled, which kind of was disheartening, but I understood it, after some time, because I started it when I was 19. So I had to
Right.
kind of like understand things. But my community wasn't as receptive as me working with the police and it kind of was disheartening because I felt like well I joined because it is the more people like us are in this field the more we'll get treated appropriately
Right. Right.
and I had to juggle that because at the same time cut it out, that's my cats in the background, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're fine.
So, I can understand. It took me some time as I grew up to understand the distrust that they had. It wasn't unwarranted. Even the history of police in America, comes from
Yeah.
policing black bodies. So I understand the negative connotation that came with it. And I remember specifically, like, when I wanted to write, like, my magnus opus of books, I was like, I definitely want to tackle that feeling. So that was one of the things I wanted to make sure I covered in Alexis. I also wanted to make sure Alexis was true to the community. So I didn't want to make her seem like she was just this dumb, unsuspecting person who would do things that was outside of the collective
Yeah.
process. Like, like for instance, now why was she going in that house by herself? Now, we wouldn't do that. We'll get our girlfriends to go with us, stuff like that. So I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure, I created a character that was identifiable and relatable as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely tell, especially with the cover, with the tone, absolutely for that. Okay. I like that. So, with that being said, who or what inspired you to become a writer or bring out your passion? Do you have a favorite writer? Do you have a favorite author? What like really made you go for it, like to do it, be an author?
So it's so funny, and you can kind of see it in the way that I write. I've always written, even when I was a little girl. It was mostly like not novels, mostly like essays and stuff like that. I wasn't really into writing um like stories as much, but the way that I think like a director. So I've
Right.
always pictured like settings and scenes and stuff like that, and that's kind of
Yeah.
how my writing is. It's cinematic in that way. Like if you read it, you can visualize what I'm saying,
Right.
like what I'm writing as I write it as you read it. So I always wanted to direct, but I never really thought about. I don't know why I just didn't click about writing books until I had a friend,
Uh-huh.
and my friend was like, I want to write a book. And I never saw this person read a book. I never saw this person write anything. And I was like, did they think of write? Let me write. And
Yeah.
then so my competitive nature had me write a book, and then I let my coworkers read it, and they loved it. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm okay at this. But I grew up reading Edgar Allan Poe,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
Come on now.
yeah, that's like my favorite author. Well, he's more of a poet, but he has short stories and stuff.
That's
And
right.
Wahida Clark, she's a urban fiction novelist. But I think like some people who read my book, they say my banter is really realistic, and
Right.
I think that's because I have like uh urban fiction influence. Even though it's Southern Gothic, my characters talk like like real people.
Yeah.
So that comes from that Wahida Clark background, that urban fiction background.
Right. So with Edgar Allan Poe, yeah, he's definitely one of the true masters, like I
Mhm.
said, of Gothic.
Atmosphere,
Absolutely, yeah, the
that
atmosphere. Do you have
dread.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. God rest his soul. Like I said, definitely one of the true giants, uh like one of the fathers of Gothic horror. Do you happen to have a favorite? I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe. Do you have a favorite short story or story of Edgar Allan Poe?
My favorite one was A Telltale Heart. I love A Telltale Heart. That is so good. It's in what he doesn't say too that I like so much. Like I like to think about, really I think he killed that man. Not because the eye in itself, but because he loved him so much, and his eyes being like that
Yeah.
reminded him that, oh, this man about to die. I love him so much. Let me just put him out of his misery right now.
Right, right. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how
That's
we've
what I'm saying.
interpreted it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely for that. Definitely one of my favorites. I hear that.
And
The
Stephen
Edgar
King
Allan Poe.
too. I love Stephen King. I'm just starting to read his work, but his movies and stuff, I never even realized so many movies was his movie. I'm like,
Right.
dang, Stephen King made this too, and this, so
Yeah,
many
that's
days.
and you just said speaking of movies because you said that when you written this book that you kind of write it like you just didn't you say something in your mind like visually like you felt like you
Yeah,
direct
I
it.
see it like a movie, and
Right.
like I see
Yes.
scenes. So when I write stuff, you can tell like I'm thinking of what a camera would be, and I
Exactly.
block off things.
And
Yeah.
you that's what I'm saying, Elaine, like because even though we know this already, like you just said with Stephen King, even Edgar Allan Poe, like their stuff gets adapted to TV shows or
Mhm.
movies and stuff. So have you ever thought about maybe one
I wanted
day
to so bad. Like I
like
wanted to
directing?
so
Yeah.
bad. I think it would be
Yeah.
perfect as a limited series, like on Netflix or Hulu. It just gives that vibe. And then one thing I feel like, not to like make myself sound so unique,
Right.
but one thing I think is particularly different about my book, because they have Anne Rice, who writes in New Orleans,
That's right.
American
Yep.
Horror Stories in New Orleans, and there's a few other ones. A newer one, it's called The Quarter Queen. You might like that one. It's historical fiction with Marie Laveau as the
Okay.
main character.
Okay, I have to check that out. And what is it? You said the Quarter Queen.
Yep.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can check that out on my book list as well. But
Yeah.
I definitely love Anne Rice. I love the TV show. I think they did a good job. I don't know if you've seen the Interview
Mhm.
with the Vampire. The,
I saw it
have
a
you?
long time ago.
You said yeah. There's season three's coming out. I think. But
Oh,
let's
they
check.
have a show with it?
Oh yeah, Interview with the Vampire. Yeah,
I
definitely
didn't
check
know
it
that.
out.
I only knew about the movie. Okay, I'm gonna definitely check it out.
Yeah, and I think Anne Rice definitely, and she's definitely, I think God rest her soul, she is from New Orleans, and
Hmm.
she, like I said, I can definitely tell her stuff wasn't generic in my opinion,
Yeah, yeah,
especially
yeah.
when she wrote it. She's a very definitely one of
Hmm.
the very good writer, obviously. So, but
Yeah.
when you have a minute, like I said, binge watching or whatever, but definitely check it out. Interview with the
Hmm.
Vampires on Netflix, the first two seasons. But they come up with a third season's new on AMC. But I love it though. I think
Okay.
the
I have to
chemistry
check
with the
it out.
main.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely very good
Yeah.
for that.
They
Yeah.
they have a lot of
Definitely.
different, like even Candyman, his history, he's from Louisiana.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one thing they do not talk about in a horror setting is Mardi Gras. And Mardi Gras is such a big New Orleans thing. And I was like, it would be so awesome if we could have like this Southern Gothic horror that's based in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. So instead of seeing it's like a juxtaposition, like you get the spectacle,
Yeah.
but you get it from a horror side. So that's one thing I think that would make for a good, like limited series because you kind of learn some history, but at the same time, you get the beauty of Mardi Gras, but then the dread behind it as well.
But my thing is that I don't know, do you think because people think witchcraft and voodoo are kind of the same, meaning that because you see a lot of movies and you have a lot of books with witchcraft, but
Hmm.
the people really, I don't know. Because to me, I haven't found, knock on wood yet, a very good voodoo book besides yours. That's definitely one of on my list.
Hmm.
That people can actually do it, meaning that it just like we talked about earlier that some of it.
Hollywood.
I'm sorry.
Hollywood.
Yeah, like watered down or something.
Even Chucky is based off of voodoo. When he talks about Dambala, that's a voodoo loa right there.
Did you like Chuck? I mean, I did. Okay, after the movies kind of got, a little kind of not goofy, but comedy, black comedy. But the first
Hmm.
one definitely had a darker tone. I did like how they had you said touching the surface of voodoo,
Hmm.
but not really digging deep, right? Meaning that,
Yeah,
like a
and
Chuck.
then they kind of made Dumbledore seem like he was it's like Dumbledore, give me the power, I beg of you, and he came to life in a doll.
Right.
Dumbledore he wouldn't do that, but I mean, it's Hollywood,
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
it
I get
wasn't the worst of the worst. I'm not gonna lie, like if I love American Horror Story Cousin, but it's as long as you don't have these people, religious figures, doing stuff that's totally outside of their character, I don't think it's the worst in the world. Cause I mean it is horror, so you're gonna like just like how we have a lot of Christian movies like the exorcism of this and that, and they don't have
yeah.
all that going on for real.
Right.
So it's I think of it like that. But when you do something like have Papa Legba eating babies, that's crazy. Like I remember they have this class and oh, my
Oh,
thing went off.
oh no,
I
you're
snapped
okay.
and it went
No,
up.
it's fine. It's
That
okay.
was so funny.
It's okay.
Oh, look, I think it broke. I'm gonna have to hold it with my hand.
Okay.
But it's Armstrong Park, Congo Square. There is this voodoo instructor, and I heard him say this, and I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. He said, imagine who you believe in. Let's say you believe in Jesus, right? Imagine someone writing about someone that you believe in who is patient and kind and then saying that they eat babies for breakfast or something like that. And I
Right.
was like, see, that's exactly why you have to
Yeah.
be careful with certain things, but of course you're going to stretch some stuff out, right? But I
Yeah.
think as long as you don't say the figures, the loas is a voodoo spirit, a loa. as long as I think, as long as you're not saying the Loa is doing something like that, I don't think it's too far outside of the realm of what your imagination can think of, because it's about the person. It's not about the
Yeah,
religion at that point.
right.
Yeah. Sorry,
That's
I don't know if I got long winded with that.
no, definitely, no, definitely. Yeah, speak it out. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want it watered down.
Yeah.
I really want a unique concept story, especially when it comes to voodoo. I mean, people
Hmm.
are just some people still confuse, like I said, witchcraft with, even though it is mixture of
It
togetherness,
is some, yeah.
but to me, my understanding, and I'm still learning, like I said, that it is some separation because, like I
Hmm.
said, we seen some adaptions of people touching on voodoo, but yeah, it's a
Hmm.
completely different, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
It's
beast.
you can go on for hours about the
Right,
similarities and the differences, you know. But
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you think with the AI rise with Chat GPT will affect writing in general for
I
authors
think
and
it
writers?
will. I think it definitely will, and
You think
it's
so?
twofold. I think there's a negative and a positive. The negative, so I don't know if you heard like some of the controversy that's going on around it with a author in particular that you can't prove at this point when something is 100% AI. They
Uh,
have AI detectors, but those are AI,
right, yeah,
and they're not reliable.
right.
So there is this like witch hunt for people. Like if you use the M dash, they're like, oh my God, when M dashes have my Edgar Allan Poe book has M dashes in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the negative though, if someone lazily uses it to like, a lot of people have good concepts, but they might not have the patience to write a novel. So they
Right.
might have AI write it for them. You can kind of tell that it's lacking the soul because it'll be like flowery words, or it'll be kind of nonsensical, or it'll like AI models can't hold a concept long enough for it to continuously tell a story. They'll start repeating or something like that.
Everybody's saying that, like, yeah, even though because it's not going to sound human, it's not going to sound real. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm afraid of. But then now with this technology, oh my God, now people are like, are you sure a human wrote this? Is there a difference? So yeah,
Yeah, you
I
can
don't know.
you
Yeah.
can you can read them and tell if AI wrote it. But the positive though, like if you use it in a way to assist you, like say if you wanted to write a scene where you wanted a surgeon to do open heart surgery and you're not a surgeon, so you don't know how that
Right.
goes. So
Right.
you ask your AI model, can you tell me all the steps that it takes to perform open heart surgery? And then when you write your novel, you get the actual factual way how to do it without having to spend hours on how to do open
Yeah.
heart surgery or look at it or something like that. Like I think it's good when it comes to research. Also, probably when you like when you're outlining and you're trying to think of what like trying to figure out what a plot holes may be at or something like that, it
Yeah.
might help. But when it comes to writing it, I think that's when the negative will come in. But to me, I always look at it like, well, if this person writes like this, that's better for the people. That shows that like it shines a highlight on the ones who actually took the time to write it, because you could tell the difference.
Yeah.
You could tell the difference between, okay, I could tell this person like it's pretty words, but they don't mean anything, or they keep repeating themselves, or stuff like that. But you could tell the difference between somebody who sat there and took time. Well, sometimes people can't, because they had this one person,
Mm-hmm.
he won like a prestigious award, and I listened to somebody like read it, and I was like, I don't know, that kind of sound.
Yeah, people are finding
So
it.
yeah, so to me, I think if you pay attention, I don't know how they let that win. I bet you they had other people's works that was sounding better than that. But I think the flowery language is what catch people up sometimes. Like, oh, this sounds so beautiful, but what does it mean? Oh, you're right, it don't really mean nothing.
Right.
But
That's
I think it,
true.
I think it depends on how you use it. It could be an aid, or it could be the detriment to. But the people who use it like that, they probably weren't even really trying to write anyways. because it's like riding a bicycle. If you don't use it, you lose it. I don't know. Maybe you always remember how to ride a bike,
No,
but
people think it's easier, like I said, just to think they can just type it in.
yeah, it
Because
is
a
not.
few, it's really not. So yeah, I think people are taking the quote unquote easy way approach. Like I said, just
That's
using
gonna
AI.
hurt them.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But no, I don't want to do that research. Like I'll type in something Google,
Mm.
researching, brainstorming ideas. But at the same time, I want it still coming from me, like I said. So it does, we want to embrace AI, like I said, we don't have to like adapting to the change because unfortunately, we have to, like I said, adapt.
Yeah. Right.
But I
You
don't
get
want to
with the
use it.
times, or you get left behind.
Exactly. You're right. That's what I'm
Mm.
saying. But yeah, I want to still making sure that because some people are still getting discouraged, which goes to my next question for you. Like, what do you tips or pointers for those writers who actually want to break in or just write? Would you have any advice or any feedback for those who want to write or just those who are and just yeah, keep
I
going.
think the first thing is for whatever genre that you want to write in, just read in that genre. Because I learned the hard way. Because, like I said, I more so watched horror. I didn't really read it, right? Luckily, I went to school for writing, so I knew some things that I automatically knew goes in the story. But
Mm.
each genre has their own, either you can call them genre promises, but there's really the same thing as tropes. But it's tropes that the reader is expecting. Like for instance, like when it comes to romance, they either want a happily ever after or they want the complete opposite, but you have to build it in that way. So if it starts negative, it gotta end positive and vice versa. You
Right.
know, and with horror, it's certain things you're expecting in that. But if you don't read it, you don't know. So if whatever genre that you want to write in, you gotta read, and don't be afraid because I heard some people say I don't want to sound like somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you have a unique voice, it's somebody else writing is not gonna. It can only influence you in a positive way as long as you're cognizant of what your voice is.
Yeah.
You know, like if you start trying to sound like Stephen King, and he has a real straightforward way of writing. Okay, then see what you could take from somebody, if anything,
That's right.
but don't try to mimic it. And
Exactly.
then another thing, it's okay to be indie. It's okay to be indie.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's there's a whole like niche for it, like especially like on the TikTok, in the TikTok community and stuff like that. They kind of like indie authors more than traditionally published authors because they feel more accessible, and people love accessibility.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
don't even worry if agents aren't getting you back, trying to, work out some kind of deal with you or something. Don't worry about it. Go indie. And you
That's
might
right.
do even better.
That's right.
And
Just
you
do
get to
it.
keep your rights and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Just do it. Absolutely. Thank you, Elaine. Definitely. Thank you for that.
No problem at
Did you want
all.
to let everybody know where they can find you? Your TikTok, Instagram, Facebook?
My TikTok and my Instagram are the same. It's E.LANEREDMOND. And my Facebook is author E Lane Redmond. And I have a website, it's elaineredmond.com, ELANEREDMOND.com.
Okay. Definitely. I do appreciate that, Elaine. Definitely. Thank you. And thank you again for taking the time to come on to the
No
podcast.
problem. Thank
Most
you for
definitely for
having
that.
me.
Oh, you're
I
very
appreciate
welcome.
it so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Absolutely, guys. So please check out her book. It's the latest. Again, it's a Southern Gothic tale of ritual beauty and blood. The Crewe House of Go ahead, because I don't want to butcher it. I'm sorry. I don't want to. Okay.
I promise you, any way you say it is fine. Lazuli, Lazulie, Lazuli.
Lazulie. Yes.
I hear so many different ways, and I'm fine with it all as long as you bringing it up.
Okay, yes, right. Lazulie. Yes, as you guys can see, just another reminder is right above her head, So absolutely above, high in the sky. Yep, definitely take a look, sink it in. So definitely, guys, check it out. And it's definitely on Amazon, hardback, Kindle. Absolutely. But thank you, Elaine. Thank you for taking the time, and I will see you guys next time.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.